Dubai chocolate has been trending lately, so I wanted to see what the hype is all about. Please stay till the end of the video to see my honest opinion and the pros and cons of this trendy chocolate. There are three main ingredients in Dubai chocolate. Chocolate obviously, pistachio butter, and knafe. You will need a silicone mold and a silicone spatula to make your life easier. I'm using dark chocolate that is accidentally vegan, but you can use any chocolate you like. Just be aware of how brittle it is. Mine has some coconut oil in it, so it's not super hard. I'll melt it using boiled water, and I added a tiny amount of oil to give myself an extra few minutes before it hardens. You will see later that not using oil at all means that you need to work really quick. This was the only silicone mold I could find, and I thought, great, this will be a great Christmas-themed chocolate. But I discovered quickly that I was so wrong. I was so ready to quit on it, because I had to move the chocolate around for the 6 trees at the same time and make sure to cover the walls. I flipped it over hoping that it will slide down the walls, and long story short, unless you're this guy, get an easier shape to mold chocolate, otherwise it's a disaster. Anyway, I put it in the fridge to harden quicker, then felt the missing parts off camera and it wasn't as bad as I thought. But I had to keep it in the fridge just in case. Now the pistachio butter. 200 grams roasted for 15 minutes in the oven at 150 degrees Celsius. I tried to remove the skin with my hands and then a towel, but really there wasn't any skin. I guess I got myself some high quality pistachios here. Then I processed them using this small food processor. You can use a mixer as well, but this was good enough for me. I've seen people add in oil and sometimes tahini to the pistachios, but really all you need is to keep processing this and its natural oil will come out and do its thing. Even the color is good enough. I didn't need to add any green or blue food coloring. I guess if you see the thumbnail with different shade of green, then I just edited that to get more clicks. Talking about clicks, please hit the subscribe button and support me on Patreon so I can become rich and famous. Link is in the description. Now the knafe is the most labor-intensive job. So if you're just trying this, I advise you to buy a ready-made one from any Middle Eastern or Turkish shop. You should find it in the frozen section. The recipe itself is so simple. You just need to stand for a long time to make it. So 200 grams of all-purpose flour. This has 13% protein. 150 grams of cornstarch, dash of salt, a tablespoon of oil, and 350 milliliters of cold water. Mix everything until very smooth. The cold water should help dissolve everything and you shouldn't have any lumps in there. Now the annoying part. I put this in a plastic bag and cut a very tiny hole from the edge of the bag. This is the easiest method I found, and trust me, I tried. I was trying to replicate the original way of making knafe in the streets, but this is okay at least for this amount I'm making. I'm using the biggest pan I have and making circular shapes while trying to avoid covering the same line twice. I actually needed to make a smaller hole to get a thinner stream, and now it's fine. The recipe I made is way more than I needed for the chocolate, but I'm planning to make nabelsiya with it, so I guess that's the next video. Once you have the full amount prepared, you can freeze it and use it later if you want. It was getting late, so I used this the next day, and it was easier to cut into small pieces while frozen. I used about a third of that amount, but I found out later that a quarter would have been enough. Now in the same pan, I'm melting 2 tablespoons of vegan butter, and I'll fry the knafe till golden brown. I added a tablespoon of sugar because I felt it will need a bit of sweetness, and I was surprisingly right about that. After the knafe is cooled down, I mixed it with the pistachio butter and then added it to the mold. This will go back to the fridge so it's not liquidy when I cover it with chocolate. Then 30 minutes later, I melted the remaining chocolate and closed the back of the trees. As you can see, without the oil it hardens very fast, but somehow I managed. Popped it in the fridge again for 10 minutes, and now it's time to see the final result. As I mentioned, these are very deep and complicated molds. so I was setting myself up for failure. But I actually managed to break 2 only, and I glued them back with the melted chocolate. And here it is from the inside. Now the taste test. Okay, I'll be honest with you, while filming this I thought this will be so delicious that I'm gonna record my reaction while enjoying the first bite. But the knafe was really crunchy, which made it very painful for my old man teeth. So let's get to the pros and cons. Does it taste good? Yes. It's not that expensive if you make it at home. Each tray cost me about €1. Now the cons. It takes a really long time to make even if you have ready knafe, because you need to melt the chocolate then chill it twice. My personal opinion that knafe doesn't belong there, because usually you would bake knafe, then add a hot syrup on top that softens it and make it a really great dessert. Maybe I did something wrong, let me know in the comments, but even after 2 days of making it, it's still crunchy and didn't soften at all. So the most important question, is it worth the hype? Honestly, I don't think so. But that's only my opinion, and if you want to change my mind, leave a comment or send me a box of your Dubai chocolate to try. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.